All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. I had to communicate. I guess they just want to speak to me directly, but the communication went something like this. Let me try paraphrasing. What can I expect when I meet Pastor Dowell? Let me explain something about me that many people do not understand and know. And let me go first natural, then that when it's spiritual, okay? Let's just take someone that is in the capacity of, let's say, law enforcement, okay? When they have that uniform on, all right, when they have that badge on, they are functioning in a role, okay? Once they come home, the uniform comes off, the badge comes off, they are functioning in a different role. They have a different hat. That doesn't mean that they're functioning, nor are they thinking the whole entire time in that role. For instance, when I was a paratrooper, United States Army, when I had soldiers, and as a staff sergeant, I had men under me, but I actually functioned and behaved a totally different way there than I did at work. There than I did when I was at home, or if I was on a weekend outing or something like that. And I think that's the problem that people are having today, is that they simply truly do not understand the dynamic of ministry. For instance, when you hear me putting out information, social, political, economic, or religious, it makes no difference what perspective or point of view I'm coming from. I am communicating. In other words, I have a hat on. I have a particular hat on when I'm ministering or when I'm speaking on these subjects given this venue here on YouTube. When I'm on broadcasting on 1600 WNQM out of Memphis, Tennessee, that's a different hat. And I'm speaking a different way. I'm still the same person, but I'm functioning in a different capacity. When I'm here on the community, most people just assume the way that you hear me preach and teach on Shabbats or ministering behind this YouTube channel, most people have already done draw conclusions, and they have drawn narratives thinking and this is the way that this man is all the time. And that's just simply not true. People are literally appalled when they come here and they meet me in person. And, I had the last group. They was utterly amazed. They say, man, you're totally different than when you're behind that pulpit, and you're totally different in person. That's because I am in a particular administration when I'm ministering. And so I have a different function. And most people are literally amazed when they see how laid back, that's what they say, and kind and nice, and literally bent over backwards to try to do whatever I can to help out people. And I tell them, I said, that's because I don't, even though I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor, that doesn't mean I'm functioning in that particular role or I have that particular hat on at all times. You have to adjust accordingly. And that's showing, not based on what these people are thinking or saying. I'm just trying to speak to us in the society right here. This shows us the lack of maturity that we have at any given time to not recognize and know the different dynamics. For instance, the president, Barack Hussein Obama, when he gets out of that office, while he was at one time a sitting president, he doesn't have the same authority or power anymore or any longer. Matter of fact, he doesn't have too much influence or anything at all once he gets out of that office. He didn't have too much when he got into that office, when they selected him into that office. And so his role is going to change. So when you meet me and you figure out, you have to understand, when I speak with conviction because I believe in my heart of hearts that what I'm telling you is the truth. I try to do all that I can to make sure that I do my due diligence, that I do my own independent research and study, and that I use self-autonomy. Because if you notice, when you listen to my messages, be it here on the Shabbat service, YouTube, makes no difference, whatever. You notice I do not, you don't see me following behind people and then hearing what they have to say and then coming up with preaching, teaching sermons, or whatever it may happen. I just don't. It's kind of hard to explain it, but no, I'm not always the same man. When you meet me in person, as you see me behind this video camera, and in that state, many people are just literally amazed. And of course, I guess all it does is it calls them to love me more. I don't know. But like I said, I hope I did something to try to explain to people. But now, understand this. I am a man of truth. And no matter what that truth is, it's totally irrelevant if my feelings or emotions or what I personally believe and think about it, that's totally irrelevant. If it is the truth, I will embrace that truth. I will wear that truth like a glove, and I will support it. For instance, the truth is you have freedom of speech. I support that. I may not always agree with your particular attitude concerning freedom of speech, but I do support your right to have freedom of speech. Other people want to regulate. Most people want to base relationships based on what you say or not, or what you stand for. You can tell that a lot of people just simply will never, ever, ever in this life ever know what it means to have friends. I've had people who say that they love me, and because I started preaching or teaching about a particular truth, they kick the traces for no reason whatsoever at all. I'm also a man that I have very high expectations. You have high expectations of me, vice versa. I'm going to have the same for you. And that's only fair. But there are many things that you may not agree with me on. But know this, the things that I speak about are subjects that I know. You don't ever see me get on here talking to you about the dynamics of swimming. While I can swim, I am not a Navy SEAL. So you don't hear me speaking on that subject because I just simply don't have too much information to share with you at all. So the things that I speak to you about are things that I know. I think one of the greatest differences with me concerning this life is that whatever you hear me speak and whatever you hear me say, I live it. I literally live it. You can actually see it applied in my life. I'm just not somebody out here bumping my gums, breathing a bunch of hot air. And I'm not the type of preacher where I want to get out here and tell you what to do and expect for you to be doing this and you doing that, and you do not see an example coming from me. I live by example, and that's one of the greatest strengths and greatest qualities of leadership that there is. You see, and that's why I say over and over again, people don't follow titles, they follow strength. When people see that you are a doer of what you believe, for instance, I advocate getting out of the city. I understood that from reading the book. I advocate working hard. You see my manner of life. If you ever get the opportunity to come to Straightway, you'll see what I believe by what you're able to view. You can tell what my hand has been in. And I'm just not somebody expecting all this and have these high expectations, these lofty expectations out of everybody else, because yes, I'm a very good preacher and teacher, and very profound. Not only that, but also in power, healing, and deliverance, setting the captives free. I teach people all across this world how to do it. But when you come here, just like Jesus was a carpenter, Paul was a tent maker, you're going to come here, you're going to literally physically see what Pastor Dowell does with his hands and what I'm capable of doing with my hands. And if you go back in my archives, enough with words, go back in my archives and look at the places I've been when I made videos, going and helping brethren in other states, setting up communities, setting up greenhouses, building houses, building homes, setting trailers, running electricity, and just doing all kinds of things. And all that. Now I'm talking about me, but this is the standard operating procedure of the brethren at Straightway, because we function with one heart, one mind, one soul, one spirit. So I'm a doer. I am a flat out doer of the word. For instance, people ask, where's your church? I don't have a church. I know it's hard for you to understand. I don't have a church. I am in the assemblies of Yah. Now, I know already we're going to be at a crossroads because you understand and comprehend a particular way. And I believe me, I understand what you comprehend. But then when you come here and you see this big old thing up here we call a tabernacle, is nothing but it's nothing more than a big living room. Myself and the brethren, we built that with our own hands. It's a huge building, at least after I write. I think the thing is probably, let me see. Let me figure out here for a second. Let me figure out for a second how many square foot just right now. And we're getting ready to add on to it. How many square foot that tabernacle is. And the tabernacle in itself is plus, right now that building alone is sitting at 3,000 square feet. And we're getting ready to add another 1,500 square feet onto it. Because we do things differently now. But you see, this tabernacle is our home. It's on our community. It's on our land. Do you understand that? So everything that you see me telling you or advocating or suggesting that you do, when you come here the straight way, you'll see that not only do I preach it, but I live it. That is the true power behind the word, because words are inadequate. You can give words all day long, but unless you live it, that is the story of all stories. And that's why people come from the north, the south, the east, and the west. They come and sit down at my feet and they want to learn, and I teach. And some actually honor me. There's a lot of young men that literally honor me. They really, truly do. Some want to come and learn the truth so it can benefit them, and then they can go on and do their thing. Whatever it be, as long as the Most High, Yahshua HaMashiach, the very Mashiach, the Christ himself, is lifted up, hey, I'm happy. But I tell you, like for instance, I've got a couple more buildings. I'm got a few more things we have to do here on the land. What I like about my preaching and teaching and what I've learned from the Bible is this. I don't owe nobody nothing. I'm not in debt. So when the Bible says, owe no man nothing but to love him, when the Bible says the borrower is a servant to the lender, I preach it and I live it. And a lot of people have written me, a lot of people have given me thanks for getting out of debt. But everything that we've ever done, and make I want you to understand this. We've never had what you call a lot of money. It's just that when we have money, I put it into something that's not going to be a bag with holes. I put it into something that will literally benefit the whole. That's what I do. That's what I do. So I don't have to go and pay these so-called professionals to do what Yah has given me the mind to be able to do for myself. All I have to do, with some of you, you have the attitude of inconveniencing yourself. And it is. You have to actually do it yourself. Myself and the brethren, we didn't get home last night, till about 9:30 or 9:45. Mind you, I was up at 4:30 that morning. I didn't get home. I didn't get home last night till 9:30, 9:45. I didn't even get to sleep till close to 11 o'clock last night. What was it? Well, we had a particular piece of gym equipment come in. And rather than going out here paying these hefty gym fees to join a club or something, all we have to do is walk up the hill. If it's really bad outside, if it's raining or something, we can drive up the hill and we can go to our own little personal gym. We don't have to pay to go to the gym. We was busy putting together a piece of equipment, myself and the brethren. And it took us, probably about the better part, it took us 6 hours to put this thing together. Could I have paid somebody to come and do it? Sure I could. And let me tell you something. It's a masterful piece of gym equipment, but the instructions was bad. I mean, really bad. But we stayed there until we got it done. We sure did. And again, it took us 6 hours just to get to, that's not including the first part of the day. So there are times when things that just simply have got to get done. It must be done. And it's going to be an inconvenience. But I think the greatest wisdom I can give you is if you learn how to do all this yourself, you'll have more money to buy more resources and invest it in the place that you are building rather than paying the professionals. It's just sense. But if you're smart and intelligent, like many of you believe you are, and you say you are, then prove what I'm saying and see if it's so. I have the attitude. I mean, you can look at our sisters' eyes. And boy, when they see these cabinets, you know what I mean? And you see them when they go places, they go, wow, look at these cabinets. I don't know what it is, but sisters love cabinets. And custom cabinets make a home look very nice. I have many videos on here where I'm actually building custom cabinets. And I figured, rather than me going out here paying these exorbitant amount of fees, because I've got one piece of cabinetry just sitting in our dining hall, that if you went out there in the world and you paid for that, bottom line, you'd pay just for that one piece $9,000+. You would. But I built it myself. And it cost me a quarter of that to build it. But it took time, energy, and effort. I didn't go pay somebody else to do what I could do. And when I do it, I know my quality will be in it because my heart will be in it. Am I drawing a good picture for you? So I had a few digressions here. And I thought that this would probably help. Now, do I have enemies? Yes, I do. I have plenty of enemies. But there's not a one of these people who have made themselves my enemies. The ones who get out here on YouTube or any social media network, there's not a one of them. Listen to what they're saying. Listen very closely because, all publicity is good publicity, be it bad or good. It's all good because intelligent people who have the power of discernment will hear and listen very well. And in that, they'll be able to make a sound, rational choice and decision. Most of these people, their feelings are just hurt. And feelings change just like the weather. But there's not a one person. Not a one. Now, I'm going to say something very profound here. There is not one person in this world that could tell you the wrong I have personally done to them. Because I try to make sure I keep myself free and not chargeable to any man. I'm serious. Now think about that. They may be upset, window dressing, noise. But there's nobody can tell you what I've done to them. Ask them, what did he do to you? Tell me the hurt that he did to you. You hear the noise all day, but you ain't going to hear nobody come up with that. Though they'll come up with, and man, I've been lied on. I've been made out to be worse than Charles Manson. And what do? After they get finished saying what they say, it's done, isn't it? It's said, isn't it? I ain't got no time to be going out putting out fires just because all these people say things. I learned a lot from the Roman Catholic Church. I learned a lot from T.D. Jakes and Benny Hinn and TBN. They have advocates and judges all over the place. They do. And many times, I don't know all the ins and outs, but I learned one thing about it. They don't go around wasting their time, spending time trying to clear their name and put out fires with the court of public opinion whose judgment really don't mean nothing at all. Most people there to evilly affect you. But like I said, there are always two sides to every single story. And I'm the type of man that there's not a man or woman or a human being on this earth that I will not sit in front of a whole entire audience and have a discussion, a debate on anything concerning me in life. Do I owe it to anyone? No, I don't owe nobody nothing but to love them. I really don't have, I'm answerable to nobody. Like you're not yourself except to the Creator. But I'm trying to get you to see that people will use words to deceive you. People are more controlled by feelings and emotions than they are truth. I'm just not that way. I'm not going to be swayed and I'm not going to be disturbed, and neither am I going to be manipulated by people's feelings and emotions, and neither should you. So I hope I've said something to maybe clear the air, but know this. I'm going to say a lot of things. It's literally going to upset you. But I promise you this. If you would just go look behind what I'm saying and check it out, you'll find out I've not lied to you. I told you the truth. It's just painful. And truth is a hard pill to swallow, yet it's an antidote. It's something that needs to be taken on a daily basis. Consider what I say, most I give you understanding. Hey, y'all have a wonderful day. King coming.